Hey everyone, Aysen here, back with another Prince of Persia video. Now today I wanted to talk about the swords in the new Prince of Persia remake because I know there's a lot of opinions regarding the new swords, because as you can see here, these are the old swords and they looked really nice. They looked big, powerful, but if we look at this new image, these are how the swords are going to look in the new game. But I just wanted to take a look at the historical context behind these swords and why I believe that the new swords are actually better in a sense, because they actually go into history and represent the Persian history, the Indian history, and all of that to a greater extent than what the original swords did. If you're new, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because I'm going to be covering everything Prince of Persia related up until when the remake is released, and anything afterwards as well. And for everyone who's subscribed at the moment, let me know what other videos you'd like to see, whether it's Prince of Persia related or any other game. Just let me know and I'll make it. So with that, let's get into the swords. Now, the first sword that I want to talk about is the first one in the image, which is the Shamshir. I don't have a video clip from the game because I couldn't find one in the trailer showing the Shamshir, but it is in the promotional image. Now, the Shamshir first appeared in Persia in the 9th century, and this is in fact when Prince of Persia takes place. And so here's a couple of more pictures from the Shamshir showing how it's a curved sword that was used by Persian armies, and really it started to take off in the 9th century. And it's really nice that they made the first sword related to Persian history, because the Shamshir was used in the 9th century, and I think it's really cool that they're going for this historically accurate approach. Now, while the original swords looked really nice, this is awesome that they're going this route as well. And now, in terms of the second sword, it looks like a kilich. I hope I said that right. Now, the kilich was, as you can see in the game, is really similar to the Shamshir, and in a way, it's part of the same family. It's a saber, it's a scimitar, but it was first used by the Ottoman Empire and the Turkish armies back then. And as you can see, it's very similar, but once again, it's very interesting how they're taking inspiration from swords from around the Middle East and from that historical context, and I really like that approach that they're going with. So in terms of the third sword now, I found this one to be very interesting. Now, I've seen a lot of comments about this sword and how it looks really ugly compared to the other swords. So this sword is known as the Zulfiqar. So we can see the sword in the gameplay here, and we can also see it in the key art as well, and it looks like a sword that is basically serrated. I think that's the right word. It's split in half, and originally Zulfiqar was a important sword in Islamic history, because that's the sword that Prophet Muhammad gave to his cousin Ali during a war. Originally, what the sword is supposed to look like, or what individuals thought looked like, is the following picture as we can see here. But there was Indian depictions of the sword made as well, and the Indian depictions actually looked very similar to what we see in the game. As you can see, it has the exact same style, with the sawtooth at the very end, and then the center is serrated. And here's another image of the same sword again. And so while the sword is questionable, because you've never seen it before, I think once again it's amazing what they're doing in terms of taking a look at history and using historical swords and incorporating the Persian culture, Turkish culture, Indian depictions as well. And I think it's really cool how they're taking this approach to the game. And in fact, my favorite sword out of all of them is the last sword. And here are two clips from that sword. As you can see, it's a very interesting sword. It's very different from the other swords. And final sword is the Akinaki. So the fourth sword is from both ancient Greece, but also from the ancient Persian Achaemenid Empire. And the characteristic Persian sidearm was the Akinakis, which was short in length, but it could be used for both cut and thrust. And so it was of Scythian origin, but it was adopted by the Medes and Persians from at least the 7th century until 2nd century BC. So it's a very prominent sword in Persian culture in the ancient times, and it was really used by personal guards of the kings. Here are some pictures from the museum, as well as some pictures from the wall of Persepolis that shows a guard who has the sword on his belt. And then we also have Darius the king, who has the sword in his hand. So it's once again, they're taking swords that are from Persian culture, and of course other cultures as well from the Middle East. I think it's super cool how they're doing that. I really like the swords that they're using, especially because of this, and really it shows how passionate the team is. They're making sure that the weapons, the designs that they're putting into the game are accurate and from those times, or similar at least, you know. They're similar to the culture. They're not just big scimitars as we saw in the original games, because scimitars were mostly Arabic in nature, but when you see the Shamshir, when you see the Akinakis, you know, you're seeing the Persian culture, but you're also seeing other cultures and a blend of it in this game, and I think that's fantastic. Really, this passion that we see in the game, it makes me even more excited, because for the remake, even though the graphics weren't the best, everything new that we've been seeing gets me more and more excited, because you can see the passion and you can see what they're going for. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. It's kind of different from what I've normally been posting, but I think my next one will be on what I think I would like to see in the Warrior Within remake, if it ever comes. I'll definitely make sure to subscribe and let me know what other videos you'd like to see, whether it's related to Prince of Persia or it's related to other games, gameplay you'd like to see. Definitely let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.